Indicated there apparently have been some rumors, some reports that natural gas would either run out or be shut off entirely to homes in some communities. And that is just not true, even though the shelter centers have been set up on a standby basis, for instance, there in Westlake. It would appear, Bob, that there have been in some of the communities a bit of overreaction.
I was talking to an official from Columbia Gas, and he said, frankly, to me that some of the rumors are being caused by people and sometimes officials panicking. The statement from Columbia is there is no indication that any community in the Columbia area is in any danger of losing residential service. The Columbia spokesman said they don't anticipate losing any residential service. The only reason for the contingency plans is that, quote, they've never had weather like this before.
That they are not caught by surprise. Utilities have dispatching centers around the state, and the dispatchers in these dispatching centers know their system and watch the pressures at the major regulating stations. These pressures are
The Cavaliers game at Buffalo wiped out tonight, and it appears the worst of the blizzard now is in that Buffalo-Niagara Falls area. They've had literally a white hurricane at Niagara Falls, winds at 75 miles an hour and very heavy snow. That is part of the front that is continuing to move on towards the Atlantic coast. We keep looking at the winds aloft, hoping that there will be a shifting pattern. Now, this is how they will shape up going into Monday. It certainly does not suggest any great breakout. Simply the air mass that comes down over us now is going to be moderating with some sunshine coming through. But based on this, there seems little hope we could have any temperature even near 20 by perhaps Wednesday of next week. Satellite today, picking up the very heavy snow plus cloud cover here. This was at 1 o'clock today. The only sunshine of any consequence seemed to be out here. Very warm in Florida today. They're around 80 degrees now. They will be cut off tomorrow as this cold front zips right on through that state. The huge high, as I mentioned earlier in the program, that is right out of the North Pole area. We've had a couple chunks break off. This is a small section of another large high that is north of the border. Here's the storm center that earlier today moved just to the north of Ohio. The heavier snow is right ahead of that front now. I indicate we could have light snow off and on, but no big problem I feel in new snow coming down. It is simply the blowing and the gusty winds revolving around this deep low-pressure storm center. Temperatures in the minus category all over this part of the United States, and as you see, the big chill is underway down deep in the south. In Ohio now, we have all minus readings except for deep in the south and southeast. Currently at Hopkins Airport, we have a -6. Mansfield had been running -10 all afternoon. They've climbed 1. And as you see, read them and weep. We've got snow flurries mixed in with those very strong winds still out of the west. 26 and -6 now for Cleveland today. 34-16 a year ago. Sunrise 740, sundown 542 tomorrow. And we have pollution count very low at 83. And we have a -2 on the shoreway. Humidity 70%, barometer 2964, rising. Winds west now, 20 to 40, and gusty tonight with a wind chill now about 50 below zero. Blustery, some snow, -5 to -15 overnight. A variable sky, some sunshine, but frigid, windy, some snow again tomorrow. 5 above with a wind chill of -30. Variable skies, frigid, a few flurries, and 10 above for Sunday. We'll have more after this.
A savage snowstorm pushed by Arctic winds moved eastward today from the Plain States to New England and south into Virginia and West Virginia. Thousands of industries and schools in the storm area already have been paralyzed by weeks of cold and a natural gas shortage. The president's energy advisor warned today that some homes may soon be cut off from gas supplies. Our coverage of the weather and fuel crisis begins with Don Webster in Ohio.
There were blizzard conditions today in much of the Midwest. Snow blown by high winds, adding to all the other problems. Because of the crisis, Governor James Rhodes this morning asked that virtually everything in Ohio shut down at noon today. Stores, all industries, the few schools still open. That brought a rush of shoppers hurrying through the cold to stores which were also chilly, stocking up on goods. Some stores announced they won't open again until Tuesday at the earliest. The weekend outlook is very bleak.
Our forecast for the next few days is the worst blast of Arctic weather that we've experienced so far this winter.
What are the worst areas going to be?
We expect the primary areas to be hit to be Pennsylvania, Ohio, and the surrounding areas will have near-record temperatures, particularly during Sunday and Monday. It's very, very critical. We intend and we believe we can serve residential customers, but it requires a great deal of cooperation from residential customers and everyone else.
With dwindling fuel supplies and severe weather warnings, it is clear that for all practical purposes, there's only enough gas available for the next several days to service residential customers, human needs, and property protection.
There were a variety of appeals to homeowners. This weekend, turn down the thermostat as low as possible. If you have a fireplace, burn wood. If there's a danger of water pipes freezing, shut off the water and drain the taps. It isn't only natural gas which is a problem. Oil spokesmen are also issuing dire warnings.
I'm here to tell you today that Ohio is experiencing the tip of the shortage iceberg. And I want to tell you, if you think this year is bad, I want you to know that it's going to be worse in the years to come, even if the weather is somewhat better.
Governor Rhodes also placed the National Guard on standby alert to be available for emergencies. Don Webster, CBS News, Columbus, Ohio.
The Buffalo area has been fighting a continuous blizzard for 3 days. People in some cases just hanging on, trying to keep from being blown away. Hundreds of cars are stranded where they were stopped. Local authorities are trying to set up centers for people who can't get home, and the state has ordered the National Guard in to help out. In Pittsburgh, the temperature dropped 20 to 30 degrees in a few hours when the cold front came in from the west. Thousands were let out of work early to conserve heating fuel and to give them more time to battle their way home. Most industry here has been shut down for 2 weeks, and now the shortage of natural gas is hitting all along the Northeast Industrial Corridor. Authorities estimate that hundreds of thousands of workers have been laid off in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and other parts of the Northeast because of cutbacks in natural gas. This GM plant in New Jersey was one of the latest to close down today. Some workers will get compensation, others will not. In New York City, the temperature this afternoon soared into the low 40s. The temperate lull before the winter storm hits here tonight and drops the thermometer down towards zero. David Culhane, CBS News, New York.
In West Virginia, Governor Jay Rockefeller asked the public not to travel and to establish a buddy system so that no shut-ins will be without help during the storm.